effectively happen is that in their pursuit of this quote-unquote higher knowledge and not keeping in consideration and not realizing that we too have something to bring to this table, they end up going from one oppressor to another. From one oppressor to another. So therefore you hear things like, well, and I'm sure many of us have heard it in different ways, well, brother, you can't understand the real Islam. You can't understand the real Islam. Right? We've heard it. Sometimes you can even walk into a liquor store. And right above the liquor is La ilaha illallah Muhammadan Rasulullah. And you'll be told, brother, can you read this? No, you are not a Muslim. Right above the Jack Daniels. Right above the Jack Daniels. You know what I'm saying? The brandy, you know what I'm saying? But because you can't read that, you're not a real Muslim, brother. You're not a real Muslim. See, that inferiority complex is played into. So then we find ourselves actually, instead of taking this deen and applying this deen to our own particular situation, we find ourselves going from one oppressor to another oppressor. We forget about this struggle and this movement. What struggle and what movement? The major fear that the powers that be in this country have is for African Americans to come to Islam and to use this Islam as a sword for our liberation. This is their worst fear. As long as we come to this Islam, right? And then we into this Islam and so on and so forth, and we're going this way, that way, and this way, and we are not using this Islam as a sword for our liberation, which, inshallah, we'll find out through the course of this month, has been the historical way. That Islam has historically been used as a sword for our liberation, as a sword for our freedom. But a tendency to take African American Muslims from that historical reality. And when they come to Islam and leave the movement. They leave this historical struggle. That only benefits those who are running this country. As a matter of fact, anyone who comes and teaches us a brand of Islam that takes us away from our historical struggle, they might as well be an agent. Like Imam Musa says, there are paid agents and there are unpaid agents. Paid agents, that's self-explanatory. They're doing it because they're getting paid. Unpaid agents are those who will do certain things. They're not getting paid to do it, but it has the same exact result of an agent who's getting paid. Inshallah, we will find out through some of this history, brothers and sisters, that we have a legacy. We have a legacy in this country that has got to be fulfilled. This is one of the reasons why we put up Al-Hajj Malik al-Shabazz like we do. No, he may not have known Bukhari and Muslim. He may not have known by Hanbali, Shafi, Maliki, and Hanafi fiqh. He may not have known all those particular types of, branches of Islam. But what he had, from what we could see, is a sincerity. A sincerity. And he set a tone, brothers and sisters. He set a tone that has not been matched since. You have to understand how the enemies of Islam, how dangerous they saw that. That here was a brother in 1964, when you did not know even where to get a Quran from, where there were hardly any masjids on the streets. He was buried in what? He was buried in a church. No big masajid and so on and so forth. In 1964, a Muslim leader who said, La ilaha illallah Muhammadan Rasulullah. That is serious business. And not only did he say La ilaha illallah Muhammadan Rasulullah and say that the true Islam, that African Americans as well as white folks need the true Islam. Not only did he say that, but he gave us a way of how to practice this Islam. That is to say, when Al-Hajj Malik al-Shabazz came to Islam, it didn't make him weaker, like Spike Lee showed in his movie. All of a sudden he's coming back from the Hajj, and all of a sudden he's, yes, and we intend to do this. What kind of stuff is that? As if to say when he was in a nation it was, huh! And then when it was true Islam, it was, That's what they're saying today. You know what they're saying today? One of the things they say today is that our Shia brothers are the militants and the Sunni brothers are the punks. Well, that's what they're saying. They say the Sunnis are the moderates. The Sunnis are the moderates. So there used to be a time that if you stood up as a Muslim and you stood up Muslim, they must be Shia. It means that you challenge the powers that be with this deen. You don't take this deen and become passive. You don't take this deen and forget about the historical struggle of your people. You use this deen as a weapon for your liberation. The same thing for our Palestinian brothers. How would that look if somebody goes to Palestine and teaching the Muslims in Palestine a brand of Islam that takes them away from that movement? Not saying it's just a Palestinian issue, it's an Islamic issue. But they got to deal with it each and every day on a day-to-day level. So how is it someone's going to teach Islam and all of a sudden the people become pacified? They might as well be an agent for the Israeli government. The same thing applies to us. And then, brothers and sisters, there's a tendency for our inferiority. Many of us don't think that we have a legacy. Many African Americans do not think that we even have a legacy in this country, and an Islamic legacy in this country that is significant. Many of us, that's that inferiority complex. That's why many of us don't think that we can have leaders from amongst ourselves.